Hello,
Good
Wel-
morning.
welcome to everybody. Ciao, ciao.
That's the phone.
How are you guys today?
Hi, Svetlana. Nice to see you. Hello to Rick. Hello, our beautiful Belgian friend. I won't try to pronounce your name because I'll ruin it. And hello, Vicky.
So we wait a couple of minutes more to see if there is someone that wanna join this new format, this new adventure that we wanna start. We already did something last week for the Great Conjunction. That was something similar. The idea is to keep this meeting, this appointment every Sunday at the moment. Maybe in the future we will change a day or maybe we see it so increase. But at the moment, I think that for sure for the next months will be every Sunday. Also the time I think will be the same. We will see also this, also we if you have any suggestion, if you see that maybe it's better, write to us and then we take for sure in consideration your request and adjust always the time or maybe the day and see what it can be. Great.
Hi, Moon. Thank you for telling us your name. And hello, Maj. Pleasure to have you here.
Good. Now we have the correct name also.
Georgianne. From the woods, joining us on a hike. Beautiful, amazing. So nice.
Good. Nice to see all of you here. We feel like a kind of connection also if we are in the cloud. Good. Very good. Okay. So again, welcome to everybody. And again, I want to just a little bit introduce this new format, what we will do and why we are doing this. So eventually, the idea is to meet again every Sunday around 11 in the morning here in Canada, in Calgary, because Canada is huge, you have many different times. So in Calgary. And to do this a small meditation together. So you now every time we will guide it through a different meditation. We will introduce you to different way to meditate, because meditation is not only one way, it's a state that everybody can reach. But because everybody is very different, there is people that are more connected with visualization, people that is more with the sound, the bija mantra, the kinesthetic, so the movement of the body. There are many different ways to reach the state of meditation. So what we would like to do is try with you guys different style and different kind of meditation, just to give you the option and the possibility to try and see in what you resonate more. Also between us we are very different and we have completely different way to enter in the meditation and also to practice. So it's already a good amount of material that we have between the two, and see how it's going. Plus, what we would like to do, it's also in the end of the meditation, open this Q&A where you can ask if you have question or if you have any topic, and it's a way to come together and have a kind of community. We have also, the Patreon. My accent sometimes is weird, guys. I hope that you will understand anyway. Where is more easy, stay in connection, but in YouTube also for the membership is a little bit more difficult to know who you are. So in this way, I think it's a good, nice. We think that it's a good, community sharing moment. And when you do yoga, especially tantra, the community, the people that is around you, it's very important. So also if in a virtual way, in this new way to live, that this year more than many other years are very present in our life. This, entering the era of Aquarius, it's very present. So we want to try to create this community and be more human also if we are talking through the camera and the computer.
Yeah. Hi, Megan. Glad it's a good time for you while your baby is sleeping. And Maria, we're so happy you can join from Netherlands. And Joao, sorry, I'm sure I butchered it, but all the way from Iceland. Very nice to have you here.
Yeah, I think in Europe it's evening,
It's
so for
evening.
this reason we choose also this time because it can be a good time in the evening for Europe and in Canada, this side of the
North
world,
America.
North America, it's more morning, so middle way. Nothing. This is a little bit the introduction. So again, if you have question, you can write, and we will try to go through in the end of the meditation. And for today will be Andrew guiding this meditation, and he will introduce a little bit what we will do. Then we go on the practice, so we go on the state of meditation, and then in the end there will be some question if there will be today. Maybe you feel a little bit shy, I know, but don't feel shy. I mean, if I can stay in front of the camera with my weird accent, you can write us any question. And that's it. See?
Yeah.
Great. So I give the microphone to Andrew.
Okay.
And we have a meditation.
So hello, Jim, all the way from Afghanistan.
Wow.
The whole world is joining us. It's amazing. Vicky, I will gladly talk about your question after the meditation. And this is what we have this space for. We're going to take this time to meditate together. Like Clelia said, when we come together in the group, it can be very powerful. Sometimes, you go to the yoga class and it might seem like you're doing very simple things, but at the end you feel like, whew, it's because we all do together. And, when we study Tantra, when we study yoga, there's no difference between time and space, This is why this digital thing is still working, because we are all doing it simultaneously. We're creating the vibration around us, and that permeates the whole universe. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take this time now to go into a certain meditation, to try to go into that space, and then really opening up, being very receptive. Then we'll just open the discussion. I want to just make clear, we're not the gurus. We don't know everything. We have some qualities of intuition like everybody does. And we just want this time to share and grow. Sometimes ideas or inspirations come up that we never thought of either. So it's a nice opportunity for us to all share and bubble thoughts and concepts together. So the meditation that we're going to be doing today is going to be, to me, it's one of the most basic ones. It's called Anapana meditation. It's just witnessing the breath. This was one of the first meditations that I learned, and I think it's quite a foundational practice when we go into a lot more of the some of the tantric meditations which involve moving the breath. Hello, Ulrika. Glad that you found our channel. Very nice to have you here. And yeah, if anyone else has any questions or anything you want us to discuss, if anything pops into your mind while we're doing the meditation, you can hold it in the back of your consciousness. If it's burning, you can type it down right away. And we will be really happy to discuss whatever you want. It can be about yoga, meditation, diet, nutrition. Can be about travel or puppy dogs, anything really. We just want to come together. This is it. We come together now, guys. So, like I said, what we're going to be doing is this Anapana meditation, which is essentially witnessing the breath. There's different stages, and we're going to go through them, but witnessing the breath coming in and out of the body. And this is a beautiful, beautiful way to meditate because the breath is always there. It's a technique you can use at any time. You can use it on the bus, in the meeting, sitting, walking, running. Witnessing the breath is amazing because it's, for one, the sign that you're alive. Usually we don't have an emotional attachment to the breath. It's not like, oh, I'm breathing. Oh, I'm not breathing. And witnessing the breath is the greatest way to observe what is the state of your nervous system. because depending on how we're breathing is a great indicator to how our energy is, to how our state of mind is, to how we're going to be interacting with the world. If you're breathing really quick and shallow, probably you're tense. You might be angry, you might be scared. And it can be an indicator that maybe it's not the best idea to take a decision right now. If you're breathing calm and steady, it's a sign that maybe you're a little more clear, maybe you're a little more lucid, a little more relaxed. So just having this awareness of the breath is a great awareness of your overall being. So what we'll do, the idea is just don't change the breath. Don't try to control the breath. Don't try to modify the breath. Just watch the breath as it is. And this is the big practice on its own, because often when we look at the breath, we have a tendency to hold it or to control it. So I will guide you in a way to just try to let go of that. And I don't need to say too much more. We're just going to get into it. Okay, guys? So I'm going to take my glasses off now. Hello, Christine. Happy you're here. And then I'm going to come back to the screen afterwards. Okay. So everybody find your way into a comfortable seated position. Have your block or cushion or blanket if you need. Press the seat down. Reach the crown of the head up. Roll the shoulders back and down so the chest is open in a relaxed manner. Close the eyes, go inside, take a deep inhalation through the nose, open the mouth inside out. Oh. And again, deep inhalation, fill the body with the breath, inside out. Oh. Feel your body soften, your mind relax. One more time. This time we're going to hold the breath. Deep inhalation. Hold it. Sniff in even more. And let go. Oh. And sitting with the eyes closed. Your attention turned inside. Start to bring awareness to the breath. Feel the breath as it comes in through the nose, down the throat, deep down into the belly. And witness the breath as it flows from the belly, up the throat and out the nose. Observing the full path of the breath in through the nose, down, down into the belly. And from the belly, up the throat and out the nose. Try to bring your full awareness to the sensation of the breath, flowing in and out. And we start to refine our awareness by making our point of focus smaller. Bring all of your awareness to the tip of the nose. Focusing at the tip of the nose, the upper lip. Feel the sensation of the breath flowing in through the nose and out through the nose. And start to become aware of the subtle qualities of the breath. The inhalation is slightly cool, fresh from the environment, while the exhalation is a little more warm and has a certain essence of you. The inhalation brings in fresh energy, vitalizing and lifting the spirit, while the exhalation softens the body, and relaxes the mind. Trying to just witness the natural flow of breath. If you find when you observe the breath, you have a tendency to hold it or control it, just control it in what feels like the most natural rhythm for you right now. Eventually, you'll find yourself just witnessing. And as you focus on the sensation of the breath at the tip of the nose, it's completely natural that thoughts will come. Whenever a thought arises, bring awareness to it. Note to yourself, I am thinking. And then come back to the breath. If you find your mind is especially busy, you can mentally note to yourself what you're doing the whole time. As you breathe in, you can mentally say, breathing in. And as you breathe out, you can mentally say, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am thinking. I'm coming back to the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. And slowly, gently coming back. Take a moment to notice where you are, how that was for you, if anything arose during your meditation. As you feel ready, you can slowly come back. When you're ready, open the eyes. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, there's another thing when you do a group meditation. So maybe I set up the microphone in the middle, and then we can both talk. I think like that.
Okay.
I think it should be able to hear us. Anapana meditation. So let's see. Hello, Abhishek. Nice to see you, brother. Hello, Cedric. Pleasure to have you. Leonore. Oh, it's so nice to see everyone. So Vicky asks, where can we learn more about Tantra? Together with my husband, we practice a little more Tantra, purely on our feelings. We would like to learn more about this, especially learning about. So one of the first things that come to my mind is that there's many different styles of Tantra, we can say. So depending on what it is you want to learn, where you would want to go is completely different. There's the more philosophical side of Tantra, which is kind of contemplating the universe, contemplating the life. There's the more ritual side of Tantra, involving fire ceremonies and worship and devotion. There's crazy magical side of Tantra, which can get a little bit scary. There is the self-development side of Tantra, which is working with the feelings and emotions. And I have a feeling that's what you're talking about. There's the partner Tantra, which involves sexuality, which is actually small compared to the whole scheme of what is Tantra. Do you want to say something?
Well, so Tantra, it's a huge word, and yeah, it's a philosophy, it's a style, it's a big branch of the Hindu tradition somehow. And it's born essentially like rebellion, kind of. In the back in the days in India, there was the caste, and it still a little bit today very different. But back in the day, it was very clear that if you was born in this life in at this level, this was your life. You cannot change. You cannot from be a I don't know, serve to become a really high
A priest
a
level
priest.
kind of
The
thing.
priest is one of the most high level. So before there was the Vedanta, there was, the study, the religion and the study of yoga and study of the deity was only for a small part of the population, very high caste, mostly men. For the woman was almost forbidden, especially doing a ritual and some, yoga practice and these kind of things. So Tantra is born like a little bit rebellion in the sense, in the good sense, in the sense that in one point they opened the religion and this philosophy to everybody. So any caste couldn't, go and participate. A woman couldn't go, and so it's a very big branch. And to go and study more, it's a process. For example, we was talking with Andrew that maybe was with her that you
Yeah,
tell
I think
me. Yeah.
Vicky asked earlier.
And there are another couple that ask about that, so maybe we can go. We will do maybe a private meeting or something like that and talk about. And then there are different schools. We went for our honeymoon. We went in one ashram where we did a lot of
The fire
puja, the fire
ceremony.
ceremony, and more this ritual traditional aspect of tantra that we study in a school where it was more based on the sexuality and the relationship. We went to a really deep process with the shadow work, and also this is part of tantra. And you know what, like already we tell one time in the Kundalini video, back in the day you was choose one guru and one place, go spend most of the here there, and then eventually be initiate and follow the lineage of the guru and go in this direction. Nowadays, again, because of internet, because of it was easy, it's more easy to travel around. Hopefully we'll be back again this, the source, they can be kind of different. So we can have information from different guru, from different book, depends,
Yeah, it's depending on what level you want to find, it can be actually very difficult to find traditional or authentic tantra. A lot of it's become this neo-tantra focused a lot just on seeking pleasure, which all of the real tantra teachers will tell you is a big trap that you can fall into in this, because you start to work with this energy, you start to develop a lot of power, and it just turns into more and more lust. And rather than finding some sort of freedom, some sort of liberation, you end up in a bigger trap. But we would like to do some maybe more small private kind of workshops where we would talk more about this. I think I messaged to you, Vicky. So if you're interested in something like this, feel free to write to us. You can write to us refeelyoga@gmail.com. I have some books listed below. Maybe I will put a few more books, a little more technical, more of like the yoga physical stuff to work with tantra. I mean, everything that we do on the channel is tantra somehow. But like Clelia and I both said, there's so many different ways. So if you maybe want a specific route, let me know, write to us, and we're happy to share whatever we can. We really like to share. Same time, we on YouTube is, we cannot say these words too much because YouTube is a bit crazy and we don't want to risk our channel.
And eventually, anyway, what is the base of tantra? Because sometimes we are really confused about what is it, where we are going, and it's very simple for tantra. What it's the idea is that this body where we are, okay, it's part of the divine, and everything is around us is the divine representation of itself. So means that everything we do, everything we think in a good and in a bad way. So for this reason, for example, the shadow work is a big part of Tantra, because also the shadow is divine, is a representation of something that is a high consciousness, high level. There are these, I really love it. When I hear first time this story, I was like, oh wow, I kind of, really take this is my path and my way, because it's there is this story where in one point Shiva, went to sleep and he start to dream the world. So when, we are sleeping and we dream, we are dreaming crazy stuff, crazy story, but eventually in the end, it's always us. We are dream about, ourselves. We dream about what is the memory of the day, and maybe we create fantasy. We fly, we do this and that, but in the end, it's still us. And then we wake up, and sometimes the dream was so real that we feel also the emotion connected to the dream, and this is a little bit the representation of this world. At least what I really thinking about. It's Shiva, that is, this representation of the divine in the Hindu tradition, or the universe, whatever you want to call it. It's dream about himself, the world, and we are the representation of that. So eventually, everything is created from them, and we are that. So we need to respect, to love, to live, to try, and to take every day, every moment like a divine moment somehow. And when we practice Tantra, and then we go more deep on the level of the conscious, eventually the last step is kind of, wake up Shiva, and then Shiva will realize, oh, it's me, so we are Shiva. So in this case, we talk about Shiva and Shakti, because the Shakti is the representation of the feminine part, but to realize in the end that this is a bit, big word, but we are God, and then there are, the connection with everything, and then we can go more deep on the discussion. But the base is that everything we are living this moment is divine. So we take all the good and the bad, because it's the same. There are no difference between a good emotion or a bad emotion. It's the same. It comes from the same source.
Yeah, if you watch, I think you watched our video, the 4 pillars of Tantra, and I discussed this transfiguration, which is the act of seeing everything as divine, and that's it. It's one of the biggest pillars of Tantra is this understanding. Yeah. Abhishek here has a big question.
Okay.
He says, discuss about Ashtanga Yoga related to Raja Yoga, Kundalini practices, and the 8 rules of Ashtanga Yoga. This can be many, many videos on its own. So I will briefly introduce Ashtanga Yoga for those that don't know. Now, it's convoluted because there's 2 Ashtanga Yoga. A lot of people, when they say I practice Ashtanga Yoga, they're referring to the yoga of Patabi Joyce from, what was it, 1960s? And it's quite a strong, dynamic form of vinyasa yoga, sometimes also referred to as power yoga. It's a physical practice. But the original Ashtanga Yoga, Ashta means 8 and Anga means limbs, is the 8 limbs of yoga from Patanjali, who was a great sage from about 2,500 years ago. And he wrote a book known as the Yoga Sutra. The Yoga Sutra is often referred to as the Bible of yoga. And in this, he defines the 8 limbs of yoga, which are the 8 kind of stages that one develops through a yogic practice. The first 2 are yama and niyama, which are ways of self-control and moral ethics, how to treat the body, how to act in society. And I won't go fully into them, but essentially what I fell in love with from yoga was when I was studying the Yoga Sutra. The teachings of yoga are recommendations. Yoga is really a science. It's you experiment for yourself and see what happens. So essentially, the whole book of the Yoga Sutra is teaching what is yoga. And I think it's the second sentence. He says, yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. Yoga is the subject. Chitta is the mind. Vritti means fluctuation or movement. And nirodha means to stop or to control. So right at the beginning of the book, Patanjali says, the practice of yoga is to control or cease the movement of the mind. And this is all yoga is, because we're always... So all the practices that we're doing are to cease the movement of the mind, because this brings us to right now. Right now, 99.999% of the time, everything is perfect. But our mind has a tendency to pull us away in different directions. So coming back to these yama and niyama, the ways to treat yourself and those around you. For example, the first one is non-violence. But it's just a recommendation. It's not like you will be violent and God will smite you. It's try it. If you do some violent act, if you punch someone in the face, if you steal from someone, if you lie, observe your mind. It will probably start to fluctuate more. But it's up to you, try. Go steal a car and see if your mind is peaceful. So these are the first ones. The first part is about these non-violence and non-stealing, non-attachment, which is usually one of the biggest ones for us. There's the second, the niyamas, is 5 recommendations for taking care of the body, such as cleanliness, such as self-reflection. One that we really love here on the channel called tapas. Tapas is austerity, spiritual discipline, and
It's a challenge, guys.
Yeah,
What we call challenge, give you a secret, is tapas.
yeah. So
We will do a video maybe about that.
yeah, we plan to do videos on all of these topics because you can go very deep into every one. What is nonviolence? What is telling the truth? Because the mind is so tricky, and there's so many ways that we can, bend and shape and mold these to ourselves. But this is it. In the end, you cannot lie to yourself. When you sit and honestly observe your mind, you notice that which are making fluctuations and which are not. And this is awakening. This is being aware of how your actions are reacting to you. After these moral and ethical recommendations, the yamas and niyamas, come the asana. Asana is, what we know as posture. It actually goes much deeper than that. But I won't get into it too much. After asana comes pranayama, the breathing techniques and other techniques to control or expand your energies. Pratyahara is the next limb, which is the withdrawal of the senses. And this is why every time you do a class with me, I say eyes closed, attention turned inside. Because if we want self-discovery, we can't be looking outside at the birds in the trees or distracted by granny cooking upstairs. So it's constantly turning inward and seeing what's going on with us. And then this goes into what is the Raja Yoga, which is usually the upper stages of the Ashtanga Yoga, which are the different stages of meditation. Did you want to talk about the stages of meditation? Okay, so the first one is Dharana. Dharana means concentration. And concentration is when someone says that I'm meditating or I'm going to practice meditation, you're not actually practicing meditation, you're practicing dharana, which is a concentration technique. So today we did Anapana, which is observing the breath. The idea is we choose something to concentrate on, whether it's a visualization, a physical sensation, a movement. And as we fix our mind at this space, the mind will start to wander and we bring it back. This is dharana, this is concentration, attempting to stay at one point. Holding concentration with awareness for some amount of time, for everyone's different, for every moment of the life is different, can lead you into a state of meditation. Meditation is not a practice, it's not an action, it's more of a state of being, much like happiness is. It's something that you fall into when you're really engaged in something with concentration. And it's a point where there's no more distraction. The mind is just fixed. There's not this fluctuation, this movement, this escaping. You're just there. So when you watch the breath and you hit this moment where, there's no distraction. You're just completely calm and single pointed. This is meditation. And this is what all of our different practices are trying to lead us to. When we do our asana, when we do our movement, when we do our pranayama, the idea is to come to this state where we're fully present with it. There's so much healing that's taking place there. There's so many neurological benefits. I will discuss them more maybe in another video that we do on meditation. And then the 8th limb is called samadhi. And samadhi is this space of awakening. It's the dissolution of the ego. There's no longer the object of focus and yourself. There's only one thing. And this is where there's a real big expansion of understanding, expansion of consciousness. Intellectually, we can know that, what the energy that I am composed of is the same as the energy of this, is the same as the energy of Clelia. of the air around me. But understanding it and experiencing it is completely different. When we can actually experience the oneness of the world around us, this is what becomes super transformational. And there's many different stages of samadhi as well. I don't know them all, and I don't think it's the space to talk about them right now. But those are the 8 limbs. And like I said, the upper ones just revolving around meditation, pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses, dharana, concentration, dhyana, which is meditation, and samadhi. These are all the Raja Yoga, which is the king of the yogas.
Yeah, and I want to tell something about that because of this 8 limbs. But sometimes, most of the time people, especially nowadays, yoga, when we talk about yoga, the people think about what we do in the yoga mat, okay? That is the asana. And when someone is asked which level is this class, many times especially if you go in a studio, there will be level 1, level 2, or intermediate, advanced, and this and that. Many times nowadays in Instagram we see some contortion of the body, and then is right hashtag yoga or hashtag advanced yoga. This is the crazy part. They are doing advanced, and it's good. I'm not telling that it's good or bad. I just a specification about that, a clarification about that. When you are great to do contortion on the yoga mat, you are doing an advanced yoga, asana yoga. Okay, what is the movement of the body? But when someone asks me, can I go more deep on my practice, or what is the most, advanced level? Well, if you look at these 8 limbs, the last, meditation is still in the pose. So the asana somehow is not that we forgot, but be careful that this is not advanced yoga. It's not more you do physically and more, crazy stuff. You are more advanced you are. It's not about that, because this you are advanced in the third, that is the first one, is asana, because it's yama, niyama, asana. Eventually, when you go in a class that there is also pranayama, you start to go a little bit more in the advanced practice, to then go in a pratyahara, so learn how to withdraw the sense, how to close, go inside and observe what is going on inside, and then eventually go in the state of meditation, and eventually in a state of samadhi. So be careful when you talk about I am doing a very advanced practice, because you are doing crazy things with the body, because it's good, it's okay, it's nice, but advanced practice in yoga, especially if we follow these 8 limbs, we talk about some different things. It's a
yeah, and that's a very good point that Chloe made out, and it's the sad reality of what is kind of happening with yoga is that it's just the circumstance of the life. Everybody's at a different level of consciousness. Everybody has a different understanding, and not everybody has access to learn what is yoga. If you open a magazine or you turn on the social media, that's what you see as yoga. And this is what we really want to share here is what we have learned about the traditions of yoga. And I just want to say thank you to Christine and Ulrike. We're so glad. We're also going through confusing times in this life, and this is what we want to do is come together as best as we can. Moving forward from here, we want to start to do Zoom classes as well, so there can be even more interaction.
See where you can talk also.
Yeah. What I want to, just to finish up, I think it was Abhishek.
Yeah.
His last question was about the Kundalini practices. So essentially, you can think of Kundalini. There's many different ways to think of Kundalini. There's the energy of Kundalini, and there's Kundalini Yoga, and you said Kundalini practices. So that would fall under the Kundalini Yoga. It's essentially just the very scientific techniques to go through these stages. And in my opinion, whenever we do any sort of Hatha Yoga with the awareness of combining all of these qualities of the asana, the pranayama, the withdrawal of the senses, and the different stages of meditation, maybe also incorporating mantras or kriyas, different actions and movements. This is it's just very technical, practical tools to go through these stages.
Yeah, and again, be careful at the word that we use, because Kundalini essentially means energy. Okay, so in the video, if Kundalini is dangerous, we explain a little bit this. It's when we talk about Kundalini, we talk about energy. Okay, then we use the system of the chakra. Okay, it's a system. Also, this is we will follow this system, that there is the chakra, the different level of consciousness, and this energy, the Kundalini, when is awake completely, go through the different stage of consciousness and eventually unite in the end, and we have this samadhi, this illumination, this expansion of the conscious. When we talk about Kundalini style, that there is the Yogi Bhanja Kundalini, there are the traditional Kundalini, all these names that we give at the class that we go are named, like Astanga. Most of the people think that Astanga is this sequence that is amazing one. I did for many years, I still did sometime. And but it's not only that, it's a full suit book, right, and it's a big philosophy and style that go around to that. So again, Kundalini, there are different style that we do on the yoga mat, and this can be the crazy breathing technique of yoga.
Yogi Bhajan.
Bhajans. It can be more the traditional, what I more do, that is more work with the chakra than single one. But eventually the base is Kundalini is energy. And when we have the full awakening of this energy, the full potential of our being, it means that we are awake, we are, united with the universe, and it's
reach the state of samadhi.
Reach the state exactly of samadhi. So
next question here. Someone says they're impressed by our knowledge. Thank you. We're just making it up. No, I joke. He also says, isn't it against Christianity to follow Hindu practices? Now, what I would say is that with a lot of religions, I really believe that all religious and spiritual traditions start out very genuine and authentic. And if you think about it, Jesus Christ, who is the founder of Christianity, was not a Christian. And all that he taught was love.
Mm-hmm.
Love for the divine, love for your neighbor. He was a pure bhakti yogi, teaching compassion and empathy and forgiveness.
It was in Samadhi at the state of Anahata chakra. It was a fully Anahata chakra Samadhi.
It's the beautiful example of this high level of a yogi. And many teachers and us as well often refer to Jesus Christ, because there's no greater example that we know of right now that we can use for such a developed Anahata Bhakti yogi. Bhakti means devotion. Now, unfortunately, given our abundance of ego in our species, a lot of spiritual and religious traditions get maybe corrupted or manipulated, or in some way someone realizes, hey, this is a way that I can control people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what leads, and then religion goes from spiritual tradition to a form of government. And it's quite sad, because there is so much truth in every religious tradition, in Christianity, in Judaism, in Muslim, in Hinduism. All have so many beautiful nuggets of truth, but someone somewhere along the way changes it for their own benefit. This very thing, thou shalt not worship any other gods. There is no other God beside God. My God is no different than your God, is no different than her God. We just use different words for it. So it may be that certain branches or sects of Christianity say that this is, actually I have a cousin, and we were doing lots of yoga together, and he was quite involved with the church. This was back when I was doing very gymnastic type of yoga, but his pastor said to him, it's okay if you practice the physical part of yoga, just don't get distracted by that spiritual stuff. So I don't know why. As someone who is of the faith and of devotion, I don't know why anyone would want to say don't worship and don't practice something that benefits your life and those around you. But again, that's an unfortunate quality of ego. I can't think of anything other than that.
Yeah, and again, eventually, we always use really a lot Jesus Christ like example to follow, and the idea again about, for example, Tantra is that everything is God, and in somehow, also Jesus Christ was this is, we come from the Father, and everything is the representation of the God. So I don't see a lot difference between them. Of course, we are full of different system, but the system, it's not that it will change the goal. I talk about, for example, we always use also this, if now I want to go to Vancouver, I can go by car, I can go by fly, I can go by bicycle, I can go by swimming. No, by swimming maybe no. I can use different system to arrive in Vancouver. Same, I can use different system to arrive in what is eventually, the love, the compassion, the elevate state of consciousness, because I'm sure that if you practice, religion, the Christian religion, you enter in a state of prayer, in a state of devotion. You will be in a high state of consciousness of, Jesus Christ. It was so incredible open at the heart level that he went to the cross. So I don't know if
and he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. That is an awakened being.
This is an awakened being, and for us, me, I see this guy like an amazing yogi, an amazing, because it is why we need to difference. And again, be careful. What is spirituality is not religion. Okay, religion is a way to control the people in all the religion. And also Tantra is not Hinduism. Tantra is not religion. It's again a system that is based in many different we have many pictures here. I love it. I'm really visual person. So an easy way to understand this, I'm not talking about Hindu religion, okay? I'm talking about easy way to understand, because I study a lot, for example, the Mahavidya, that is this 10 goddess. So we have our mind, it's very difficult to understand some kind of concept like the emotion, infinity, these things our mind can understand until one point. The representation on, draw, it make more easy for us to grasp this idea. So, for example, in Hindu, I love the Hindu because they use a lot of color. They are very nice. And if you see and you start to study this, every symbol, it's refer to some kind of difficult concept that our mind cannot really grasp 100%.
Yeah, it's not about the picture. It's they all have an energy. Even this, it has an energy. Every sound has an energy. Every image, and these are very, we can say, very scientific, very coming from a very high level of understanding to create something like this.
So we are not follow the Hindu religion. We know we are not Hindu, but we follow some kind of concept that is around. And again, I don't think that yoga go against any kind of religion.
He said he loved that answer. Okay. A while ago he said he
and the last thing that I want to tell is that if we study, the different religion, again, the spirituality back of the religion, all are tell almost the same. Again, we go around and we arrive at the same, it's like, for example, the chakra or the qin in
Qi in Chinese medicine, or
the meridian,
the meridians.
It's the nadi. if you put together the two things, you see is the same, and there are two, different culture in a different place, different time, that they arrive at the same point. So religion, I think, spirituality, no religion, I think is a bit the same. So
next question. Majd says, could you please elaborate about Shambhavi Mahamudra? Now, as I read this, something tells me that there's a bigger version of the Shambhavi Mahamudra than we're usually teaching. We do just a Shambhavi Mudra. The Mahamudra, you will see a lot of these Sanskrit words are used for many, many different things. For example, I know one form of Mahamudra that I learned from my first teacher. I learned another form of Mahamudra from another teacher. I was just speaking with another guide of mine, and he told me that there's an entire system of Tibetan Buddhism called the Mahamudra. I can tell you,
Maha means great. So there are, you put together. So the mudra is a gesture. So Mahamudra can really means many things somehow. I mean, depends where you put which system you are using.
But to talk about the Shambhavi Mudra that I'm familiar with and that we use and that you see in a lot of our videos and a lot of yoga classes, this is a form of Trataka. Trataka is a purification and a meditation practice involving the eyes. And in Shambhavi Mudra, you specifically do Trataka on the space at the middle of the forehead. So it involves turning the eyes upwards. The eyes can be open or closed, and focusing all of your awareness here, which is the drishti, the point of focus for activating Ajna Chakra. Ajna Chakra is the third eye center. So this gazing towards the middle of the forehead has multiple uses. One, it's a purification practice because we're locking the eyes in one place. The eyes are very connected with Manipura chakra as well. So as we do the eyes in one place anywhere, can be a candle, can be a point on the wall, can be a yantra. It's purifying the body and purifying the mind. Two, it's a meditation practice that is activating Ajna chakra. Just like we watch the breath, we can watch this and feel any sensations. It's sending energy there. And third, it can be a sublimation technique where we use this awareness of sending energy there to draw the energy from the lower chakras up. So it's a very powerful practice. And for this reason, sometimes maybe it's called Mahamudra, the great gesture, because it has all of these actions combined: purification, meditation, sublimation.
Yeah.
Beautiful practice. Don't push it, don't strain the eyes if you want to practice this, but I highly recommend to practice. For sure, we will do it in one of these weekly meditations at some point. We both love it. Aaron says, should you be vegan to practice non-violence?
Well, it's yes, for sure. This is one of the most point about be vegan or vegetarian. It's a slide because if you drink milk, you don't kill the cow. Then after that, there are different level. But if we talk about specific no violence and don't eat any animals that you need to kill to eat, it's really suggested to, and it's one of the first things that you start, the yama niyama we just tell you, and non-violence I think is one of the first, so you start to think about it. After that, for example, when you go to some exotic place to do some retreat, especially if you maybe also work with Buddhism, maybe there are mosquitoes around, okay, and many times I saw maybe the monk to kill the mosquito. Now you are practice now violence and you are kill the mosquito that is something alive. Is true 100%, you should not do it. At the same time, there are always small things that it's really
again, keep in mind that all of these yamas and niyamas are for this purpose, to observe if there is fluctuations in the mind. Now, there's the non-violence one can be a bit convoluted because it can clash with the second yama, which is satya, or telling the truth. Now, I give you an example. The yogi is sitting meditating under the tree, and he hears this ching 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 ching, and he opens his eyes, and there's this cow running by with the bell around its neck, and he says, "Oh, a cow, very nice," and he goes back to meditating. And then 15 minutes later, someone comes up and starts shaking him, and he says, "Hey, hey, hey!" And the yogi opens his eyes and sees this butcher with a big knife in his hand. He says, "Did you see a cow here?" So now there's a conflict, because if he says the truth, he inflicts violence on the cow. If he saves the cow, he's being dishonest, and this is where it comes down to which is causing less fluctuation, which is causing less perturbation of the mind. At the same time, if you are, say, on a stranded island, with your family, you've got your wife and a couple of kids, and you're all starving, and there's no food around, and you see a rabbit, is killing the rabbit for food. It's a violent act, but it may save the life of your family. Now, these are extreme examples, of course. Today, if you reach a certain level of awareness, a certain consciousness about how your meat and animal products are coming, then it's quite clear that they are violent.
Yeah.
But before you reach that level of consciousness, you can be blissfully ignorant, and it's not a violent act at all. Again, it's how it's fluctuating in your mind. I'm not saying anybody needs to change their diet or anything. I'm really not someone to control people's diets, because I think that this entire life is a personal experience.
Yeah, but at the same time, personally, I really believe that we are what we eat, and I repeat many times this in the last couple of video. And there are many things that are going on with the meat nowadays. How we keep these animals, how we kill these animals, and the amount of poison that then we put in our body, and the adrenaline that we go in our body, because when you kill someone, there is a rush of adrenaline in the body, and then we will eat this substance that will go around our body. So personally, I really suggest, I don't, if you are, it's not that I go around and to eat meat, but personally, I don't eat animals, and I suggest to don't do it also for the practice, because more clean is our body, and more we can feel the subtle energy moving. So
100%,
it's something
100%.
that is nice to look at, and eventually I started many years ago to don't eat meat. And today, sometime it become in my mind, I can eat a nice, burger or something, especially now we are in North America. Then I don't know, something happens because there's so many here, and I really see the cow and eat the grass, and I can't. It's something that I feel I cannot eat this. It was an animals, and it's like if I don't know, I was eating my dog. Nobody would think to eat the dog, but the things is the same. It's an animals that is breathing and sleeping, and it's nice and soft.
So Joa says, sexuality and tantra are so mixed that I started to be confused. I will send you an email. It's good to have this internet, but sometimes can make us lost because of the amount of different. And this is the downside of our information age. Is there's so much information, and it can be misleading. And yes, anyone that wants to go into this kind of private meeting, and where we will talk a little bit more about tantra,
tantra
and this partner sort of practices, feel free. We're happy to hear from you, happy to connect with you. Here's a question that I can really resonate with.
Okay.
VBV, who's asked a couple questions now. It says, how to balance material and spiritual life.
Oh, this is the drama of Andrew, mine.
The more I practice spirituality and yoga, I no longer feel motivated to pursue material goals, which I aim for. Isn't this detrimental to career growth? I just want to say, in case you didn't leave already, Eureka, thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy your dinner. Ciao, ciao.
Bye, thank you.
This is my biggest challenge in this life as well, because I resonate. I don't have so much material aspirations, and this is why we run the YouTube channel like this, because I just want to give it all. I want to give it all. I don't think that I think that this knowledge is so beautiful, and it should be shared, and it should be easily accessible. And at the same time, I have a wife who has needs, and we need to provide for ourselves. So I really understand this conflict, and at the same time, there is a way that they can go hand in hand. You know, rather than have an aversion to money, because I have this to see like, oh, money is the root of all evil and all these things. No, like we've said over and over, everything is God, you know, and everything is divine, and everything can be done in a righteous, in a moral, in a beautiful way, you know. So for example, it took me many years to get to this point, but now through this YouTube channel, I mean, we're not rich, but I can feel like I'm developing some sort of um, aspiration in this way to provide for myself, to provide for Clelia, for both of us. And
yeah, so there is these things we need to, we also here, you know, take separate in a separate way. First one, money is energy. Okay, you can see in this way how you want to use this energy. This is what to change. Okay, because if you want to use your this energy to do better action, then you will have some kind of you know,
Karma.
reaction, some kind of karma that come out. And another things I want to tell you, you know, is this is if the need of have things, you know, I want this car, you can think to have this car, you know, it's good, it's not that you will go bad because, but if this is you know, make your life miserable because you are looking at your neighbor, you have the house, the nice house, and I have the bad one. Or if you are looking at your boss and you want the place of the boss because he's more lucky, have more woman or whatever it is, if you have this attached to the materialism, if you have this need and this you know, way where your life will be more miserable, this of course is not a good way to live the life, because your life will be miserable. Okay, at the same time, you know, for example, also here, to do this, still we need a computer, we need a webcam, we need a light, we need this, we need that, we need that. So we need the way to move things around nowadays. The money in a bit, it will be a credit card, the money will disappear. So you know, there are this way, depends what is your intention, and this is about everything, so if your aspiration for your work, job, or whatever, it's anyway in a healthy way to, and it make you feel good, and at the same time you still have be a, you know, a good human being, I don't see any, you know, crash between the two.
yeah, make your career work for your practice somehow. You know, it can all be spiritual practice.
Yeah.
This idea of career is Manipura chakra. You know, so while doing that, you know, we can work Manipura, we can work self-confidence, we can work aspiration, we can develop determination, and all of these that can benefit us in the career life will also benefit us on the mat. So it goes both ways. I do these 10-day challenges on the mat so that I can be better at the job, you know. Maybe someone works better at the job so that they can be better on the mat.
Yeah, and also, you know, gain power, it's a really, really huge test.
Self-control.
And there is a universal give us. And again, you know, when you work with Tranta, we work with also the shadow work. When you become, you know, you start to have power because of money, because of your position of your career or whatever, it's difficult to, you know, stay at the human level, you know. And here is where you see the boss and the leader are always open and ready to receive and help and give help, you know. It's, and this is where you work with your level of consciousness. You can have a lot of power and use this power in the best way, and, you know, make many people happy, and you can have less power and be a very tyrann and you know. I met a man that was working selling arms. He was not sleeping very well in the night, you know, because still you have this fluctuation of the mind that is still, you are selling something. Yeah, you are making money, but you are selling something that is killing people. So, you know, it's always a constantly check reality and, you know, test that from a universe, see where you are, what you are doing, you know.
Since we talk about making money and all of and business and stuff, Svetlana just said I would like to buy one of Clelia's malas. Would it be possible?
Yeah.
Yes, for those of you who don't know, we're not wearing them today, but
Not today, no, because we are.
Clelia makes a lot of these crystal malas, and Svetlana, for sure you can buy one. Just write to us at refeelyoga@gmail.com,
I
and
will send you the picture so you can choose what you like it, and then we will happen. No
for those of
problem.
you who don't know, a mala is a beaded necklace with 108 stones or crystals, and the way that Clelia designs them is with a certain energy behind them, so they can be used for benefiting your meditation. Some of them are for like a protective
Protection,
jewelry,
yeah.
to create a certain resonance. Like we said, everything is energy. You know, the colors, the shapes, also the minerals carry a certain energy. So yeah, if anyone else wants a mala, feel free to reach out, Svetlana. We will be very happy to provide you with one.
And another things about possessing things, for example, me before go completely in the spirituality and yogi style and travel around and change my life. Before I was a manager and I was organized party, and I really love, I'm Italian, so everything was clothes, shoes, and all these material things. In the year, slowly, I developed this. I don't really need it. Yesterday we went to buy shoes because there is snow outside, so we have the flip flop from Thailand was not really going well, so we need some shoes, and there was many, and I still have this, and then I try a couple of, and then in the end I say, you know what, I don't really need. It's not that I need a new pair of shoes because you have already one, so it's okay. Back in the day, I see myself, I was for sure buy 2 or 3 because it was big the discount,
yeah.
things. I was okay, take it because this makes. Now I don't have any. I develop this sense where I take what I need, and I don't need more than what I have. This is also another way to control this, because then it becomes, for example, we travel around and now I have thousands of bags. For me is the nightmare. I want to have one bag and what I need and that's it. So it's really come also this. It's like a change that can happen slowly in the life, like eat meat. It's you develop in one point because you feel better. You see it's an experience. You experience difference at the mental and physical level. So then you start to change something, and it become automatic.
Yeah, it's a natural process. He then said, yeah, so follow your dharma without getting attached to things. That's exactly it. For those of you that understand dharma, follow your aspiration, your purpose, and continue the practice alongside of it is beautiful. Christine says, thank you so much, Clelia and Andrew, to this warm-hearted and loving community in the group.
Thank you.
Vicky says, thank you so much for this. We really enjoy it. Moon and me would like to a private session to learn more about Tantra, yoga rituals, shadow work, etc. And Clelia, Christine, I will definitely have a good night and get up strong tomorrow morning. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that maybe for today.
Yeah, we finished now. It was beautiful to share this moment with you, and we want to do this weekly. So if anyone
invite your friends.
yeah, come on. We want to share. This has been really nice for me. I'm sure it's been beautiful for us. If you're not watching this live and you have some question or topic you would like to discuss, you can leave it in the comment section below and we will get to it in the next video.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was very nice. I hope that you have appreciated.
I see that they've appreciated. Many thank yous. So thank you, guys.
Great. Thank you so much. Bye.
Namaste.
Have a good night, day, time.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao.